and welcome to another booktube video from me, Lauren, from Lauren and the Books. I hope you're all very, very well. Today I'm going to be doing a book haul, August's book haul. It's nearly at the end of August, nearly autumn, nearly September. Happy, happy, happy. I've got a few books to show you here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 books to show you, some of which have been sent to me by 2 publishers, some of which I've bought or bought with my own hard-earned cash or acquired in another way. So yeah, let's get going. So I'm going to start off, what's that mark on there? I'm going to start off with the books that have been sent to me by the publisher. So the first thing I've got, which I've only just really had a proper look at this. This is An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. This is, I believe, oh no, I don't think this is. I think this is the US copy, floppy copy. Hank Green has kindly, I didn't even know this was happening. Someone contacted me and asked me if I wanted a copy of it. I've never read any Hank Green before, and I've only read very, very few John Greens. But Hank Green himself has written in it, Lauren, thanks for sharing your love of reading for the world to see. How kind of him. This, I picked up and read the first page. I feel like maybe this is something I will read in the upcoming months. So this is about 23-year-old April May and her best friend Andy discover a massive giant structure which they make a video about, and then the next morning they wake up and it's gone viral. I believe that this structure is called Carl, and these structures begin appearing in cities sort of all over the world, and April has to like figure out her new life being this sort of like viral superstar, and what these Coles have arrived for. So yeah, sounds interesting. It's written in a very sort of like conversational way. So like I read the first double page, and it's very like, I quite like these books. Like, they remind me of books that I used to read when I was younger, like sort of like having a chat with the people that you're reading about. So exciting, looking forward to getting to that. The next 3 books were sent to me by the lovely Emma at Book Break. They are various Pan Macmillan, Picador or Mantle books. The first one is a crime book called The Daughter. Now, I don't read that much crime, but when I do, I always tend to enjoy it, and I felt like this one was quite a good one for me because it's about a mother-daughter relationship, so female-led, excited about that. And particularly about Katie, who got pregnant as a teenager. So I feel like that's a different edge to a crime book. She says, having not read many crime books, but I feel excited about that. It's their life is quite hard, but it brings Katie and her daughter Becky together. And it says here, but when the unthinkable happens, Katie's life is changed forever. Desperately trying to understand, Kate stumbles across Kate stumbles across a story Becky was researching. Is it possible that this cruel twist of fate wasn't an accident? So yeah, it says here it's a gripping, powerful story of a mother's courage and devotion. And this is the same author that wrote The Girlfriend, which is a book I have not read. This next one is The Hiding Game by Naomi Watts. I've got a book, Naomi Alderman I've got a book by as well. Lots of Naomi's. This sounds exciting. This is from the same author, I believe, that wrote Mrs. Hemingway. It's set in 1922, and Paul arrives at an art school and is immediately seduced by both the charismatic teaching and his fellow students. Eccentric and alluring, the more time Paul spends with his new friends, the closer they become, and the deeper he falls in love with the mesmerising Charlotte. But Paul is not the only one vying for her affection, and soon an insidious rivalry takes root. So I've read like the first chapter of this. It's not really a chapter, it's like one page and another page. And it seems as though Charlotte is dead. So this Charlotte that you read about in the blurb that he's become obsessed with is dead. So yeah, it's it says here that it's a tale of like obsession, when love borderlines, the dangerous fine line between love and obsession, set against the most turbulent era of our recent past. So yeah, really like that front cover as well, very exciting. This one I'm very excited about. This isn't due out until January 2020, futuristic. This is The Other Bennet Sister, and this is Pride and Prejudice told from the perspective of Mary, the middle Bennet sister, who is often sort of described as very plain and hasn't got much about her. Again, I've read the first few pages of this, and like it goes on to how she hasn't got any wit about her or the looks or anything like that. So I'm excited to find out if this is literally going to be Pride and Prejudice told from Mary's perspective, or if there's going to be some changes and things like this. Earlier this year I did something called June Eyre, where I read lots of books related to or based on Jane Eyre, including Jane Eyre itself, and I enjoyed doing that so much that I think I'm actually going to do that this year with Pride and Prejudice. So I don't know what month that's going to fall in, but this is definitely a book that I will be reading in that month. So yeah, it's quite a chunky guy, but I really enjoyed the story of Pride and Prejudice, and I'll be interested to hear about it from Mary's point of view. So that was the last book from the publishers. I've now got some books that I bought. So I'll start with the 2 books that I bought in Knock Airport in Ireland. I went to Ireland earlier this month for a wedding. Came back with loads of tea and 2 books that I bought in the airport. So the first one I bought in the airport, which I've read already, and this will be appearing in my wrap-up, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. This is Wilderness by Roddy Doyle. I've read a few books by Roddy Doyle, but nothing like... No, I've read those books called 2 Pints and 2 More Pints. I've never read... I've got another one by him up there called Smile. And this is these are some of his children... This is a children's book of his. I believe he's written a few children's books, including a Christmas one, which I need to get my hands on. But this is about a family who... a family which has got... Oh, no, I'm going to explain this. It's going to sound really confusing. So, in the family, the dad and his daughter... the dad's remarried this other woman, and they've had 2 sons. So he's got his daughter from a previous relationship, and then his new partner and their 2 sons. So the new partner and the 2 sons go off on a holiday to Norway. Is it Norway, or is it the... Oh God, where is it? It's like north, in order to get away from sort of like some fraught tension that's at home. And then Grania, the daughter from the previous relationship, is meeting up with her mother, who she hasn't seen for many, many years. So you sort of flip back in between of Grania back in Ireland and the mother and her two sons on holiday being taken away around by these dogs and things. I really enjoyed it. It was really, really easy read. I feel like it's just a nice book to have, like a book about a family that isn't just like a mum, dad, a boy and a girl. Like that is very rarely the normal family situation anymore. So I very much enjoyed the way that was normalised. And yeah, I enjoyed it. It's about sort of like looking out for each other and stuff like that. And yeah, I feel like they felt real. The daughter in this story was told in a very real sense. And yeah, I enjoyed it. I feel like for younger readers this will be very, very enjoyable. And then I also picked up one that I haven't read yet, and I won't be reading yet because it's a Christmas book. This is Almost Midnight by Rainbow Rowell, and this is 2 short festive stories by Rainbow Rowell. It's a really, really beautiful book. It's like really sparkly and lovely, naked hardback. It's got 2 short stories in here called Midnights and Kindred Spirits. I read the first page of Midnights, and it's set on Christmas Eve, so not on Christmas Eve, on New Year's Eve, so I don't know, I feel like that might be the festiveness, but I don't know what the other one's set. But yeah, we'll be reading that around Christmas, so I can't look into it too much now because Christmas is coming. The next books are 2 books that somebody from work bought in. I can't remember who. They'd read them and they were getting rid of them or something, and both of them were ones that I wanted to read. So the first one is The Tiger's Wife by Tia O'Brecht. Now, I first heard about this in Simon's video where he was talking about books that have previously won the Women's Prize, which at this point was the Orange Prize. So this won in 2011. So I have been wanting to... A lot of those books appealed to me on that list, and I would quite eventually, at some point in my lifetime, like to have read all of the winners of the Women's Prize. So I picked this up. Now, there isn't much to tell you what it is going on. Oh, hold on. It says here, a tiger escapes from a local zoo, padding through ruined streets and onwards to a ridge above the Balkan village of Galena. His nocturnal visits hold the villagers in terrified thrall. But for one boy, the tiger is thinking of magic. Shere Khan awoken from the pages of the Jungle Book. So yeah, enjoyable. And then another book that was also bought in was The Power by Naomi Alderman, which I have read before, but this year I read Disobedience. I'm looking up there because that's where it is, by Naomi Alderman, and like that's one of my favourite books of the year. Really, really loved it, and it's in this sort of lovely front cover of like quite retro looking front cover, I guess. And I'd like to give, because I started reading The Power and really, really loved it. I thought it was going to be one of my favourite books of the year. When did this win? 2017, so not last year, the year before. And then it just sort of like flopped for me. So I'd like to give it another try, to be honest. So maybe next year I will give that another try, but yeah, really like this front cover. And then the last one is one that I bought from the charity bookshelf at the hospital that I work at. This is Welcome to Lagos by Chibundu Onuzu, and this follows 5 runaways who are riding the bus from Bayelsa to Lagos, and they're very unlikely allies together: a private, a housewife, an officer, a militant and a young girl, and they're all escaping and going for a new life in the city. So yeah, looking forward to reading that. And then the last book is one that I've just bought today. Really excited about this. Literally, I could barely sleep last night. I was thinking about it so much. And when I was driving to go to the supermarket to pick it up because I needed it instantly, I kept saying to David, this feels like Christmas. I'm so excited. So this is Veg by Jamie Oliver. Now, some of you may know Jamie Oliver is one of my favourite cooks and chefs of all time. I really admire him and the work he's done for like getting people cooking at home. I find his recipes extremely accessible and enjoyable, and his programs are really like easy to follow, and yeah, he's basically a big hero of mine, and I was very, very excited to get this veg book because before I stopped eating meat, so I haven't eaten meat now for, I think it'll be 4 years in January. So I was pescatarian for a year, and then I've been vegetarian for, it'll be 4 years. No, I would have been vegetarian for 3 years. I used to cook my way through Jamie Oliver's cookbook. So one of my favourite ones of his is one called Great Britain, where it's all recipes that are inspired from like Scotland to southeast to all over the place. I love that cookbook. There's another one called Comfort Food, which I really love. 15-minute meals. All of these books are like literally my favourite cookbooks ever. And I've been really sad that since I've stopped eating meat, I haven't been able to work my way through a cookbook like this. And now I can, because I can cook everything in here because there's no meat. Now, I have had a flick through. Well, I say a flick through. I've looked at every single recipe in here, and it looks really, really good. It's set into really good chapters of really delicious like things, so it'll be easy to sort of navigate your way around this. So curries and stews, pies, parcels and bakes, soups and sarnies. God, I love soups and sarnies. Tray bakes, which are super easy, particularly for like getting in of an evening, just shoving things in the tray and putting it in the oven. Rice and noodles, pasta, salads, burgers and fritters. David's going to be so excited about the burgers chapter. Let's have a look at the burgers chapter. Already I know there's an onion bhaji burger, which I'm very excited about. Burgers and fritters. So Indian style chip butty. That looks nice. Sweet corn and jalapeno fritters. That also looks nice. Roasted black bean burgers. I love black beans. Oh God, it's so excited to be able to know that I can have all of this. Spiced carrot pancakes. Is that to do with that? I don't know how that's a burger, but yeah. Brilliant bhaji burger. So that looks really good. I might even make that this weekend. Yeah, and just other things. Rogan Josh Scotch eggs, roasted falafel pita pockets. Yeah, I'm really, really, really happy and excited about this. I'm actually making something from it for lunch today. There's something like it's like a green bean and tomato salad, hot salad served with toast. So I'm very much looking forward to that. So so happy that it's here. I've been really looking forward to this ever since I've heard, like for the past 5 years, I've been absolutely just praying that Jamie Oliver is going to bring out a vegetarian cookbook, and he finally has. So really, really happy about that. There's going to be a TV series that accompanies this, so looking forward to watching that as well. But yeah, can't give you much more detail because I haven't cooked anything from it, but it looks really, really good, and yeah, delicious and exciting. So got that, so excited. So those are the books that I got my hands on in the month of August. Would be very interested to hear what books you have got recently. Are you planning on reading any of these that I've shown? And I will see you all again soon for another BookTube video. Goodbye!